Hey guys, today's video is going to be on buying used gear, but I figured I'd probably explain the change in scenery here. This is actually a guest bedroom that I have converted in the short term to a small home theater room. I've got the PB16 Ultras in here, and I just wanted to see what it'd be like to run ultra big subs in an ultra small room. I think this room's like 11 by 11. And I happen to have all my older gear out. That's my Denon X2000 over there, my Definitive Technology C2 center channel. So I was kind of playing around, so I figured it'd be a good time to talk about used gear. And I'm going to point out too that probably my most useful tip is going to be toward the end of the video, so stay tuned for the whole thing. But anyway, guys, I understand being on a budget. I'm not a YouTube millionaire just yet, so I still have to be very aware of my budget and what I spend my money on and stuff like that. And I actually started this channel with a good mix of Craigslist items, including that center channel over there. And so, we all start somewhere. We don't all get to start off with like a $10,000 budget for our home theater. I mean, some people do, but most of us, we got to start somewhere, and buying used kind of makes sense in certain cases. Like when it comes to like stands, racks, things that won't fail. I've got these speaker stands that people always ask me about. They're made by Definitive Technology. They're really cool looking. Can't see them right now, but something like that makes sense because the likelihood of it failing is pretty small. Speakers generally last. That center channel over there, it still works. It's still fine. It's functional. There's nothing wrong with it. I do realize how spoiled I've been, but that's a different topic. The speakers still work. But where you run into the problems are with AVRs and TVs and subwoofers and the things that are a little more complicated. Those can be a little more hit and miss. Okay, and I'll give you a great example. This TV here. This is a fairly new LG 3D 4K TV, and a little after its year warranty, I had some major issues with flash lighting, and it started freezing up on me and just stuff here and there. So it was definitely far from correct. And fortunately, I purchased a square trade warranty, and so even though I was beyond the factory warranty, they got it taken care of, and I've got the new TV out in the living room, and everything's cool. So that worked out. So I definitely recommend aftermarket warranties for things like TVs and higher end things like AVRs. I bought a Marantz years ago. I was in an eBay store, and I saw this Marantz amplifier sitting there. I'm like, oh, cool. So I bought it, and it worked good for about a year, and then I had a circuit board on it or something like that fail, and it would have been more to repair it than it would be to replace it. So that was one of those things where it was just ended up being an anchor, So I've had some experience with some of this stuff where you buy used items and they fail on you. It happens. It happens with new stuff too. So it's one of those things. And I'm not trashing Marantz. I'm not trashing LG. I like them both. They're both good brands. They both make good product. It's just certain things tend to fail more. And so it's one of those things to be aware of. But I'm not against buying used. I bought my Denon X6200 amplifier in the main room there because I wanted to go to Atmos. I wanted to try out that whole thing. And I bought it from Accessories for Less almost a year ago now. And I've had really good luck with it. But it's one of those things where Accessories for Less, they sell an aftermarket warranty. So you can buy, I think it was a 4 or a 5 year warranty with it. And that's longer than factory new. So I was like, hey, that makes sense. I'm saving money, plus I'm getting a warranty that's long enough to cover this thing for quite some time. So if anything goes wrong, I can get it replaced or get it repaired. So it's one of those things that makes sense. If I didn't have the warranty, I probably wouldn't have bought it. The price wasn't worth it at that point to me. The risk wasn't worth it. So, so that's a good idea. And a lot of my viewers know that I'm an SVS affiliate, and I spend a lot of time with their products. Like I said, I got the PB16 Ultras down here, and But what some of you might not know is that their used outlet section comes with the same warranty and benefits as new products, okay? So, you know, when you buy an SVS product factory direct, which that's kind of important because if you buy it from another dealer or something like that, you may not get this benefit, but they have a 1-year trade-up policy, which means you can trade up SVS products within a year's time for full retail price for something better. So say you bought one of these satellites or a set of these satellites and you decided, hey, I'd like to go to the bookshelf or what have you. Within a year's time, you can trade it in and they'll give you the full price that you paid for those satellites, less the difference of shipping, and that'll go towards your new product. Okay, so that's a really cool benefit. People do use it. So that begs the question, what happens to all of those trade-ins? Well, they actually go through a process. They're tested against new standards, and if they pass, they go to the outlet. So the performance is guaranteed just as though it was new. And the more cosmetic flaws you're willing to deal with, the better price you'll usually find, but most of them are in really good shape. And so it's one of those things where you can get something that's still, they're still proud enough to sell it as new, because it's still, well, they don't sell it as new, it's sold through outlet, but it's still has to pass the tests and stuff like that. They're not going to put something that's junk in there and sell it to you. It goes through a lot of different things to make sure everything's functioning properly. But if it does, it goes in there. But the coolest part is that you still get the 1-year trade-up policy, okay? So, you know, and every other benefit that comes with a Bill of Rights. It's just as though it was new. So you get the full 5-year warranty, you get 45 days to listen, you get free shipping. If you don't like it, you send it back, you don't pay for shipping in that case. So it's just like you're buying a brand new SVS product. You're just saving money on it because it's been in someone else's home. Now, I've been there and used products that have been used. There's not much of a difference. So you can really save some good money. But the thing is you can go and say you buy a set of used PB1000s and say you pay $600 for it, or well, probably more like $700. And the prices vary, of course. But say you paid $700 for a set of PB1000s. All right, and then you want to trade up to the PB2000s. Well, you can still trade in within a year. They'll give you that $700 towards the purchase of the better product, less the difference in shipping. It's the only time they ask you to pay for shipping is during that trade-up policy. Other than that, shipping is always on them. But that is such a cool thing, because if you buy a used product on, say, Craigslist, number one, your warranties and things like that may not be the same. But number two, you can just turn around and trade that in within a year and buy something better. So it really allows people who are on a budget to kind of get ahead in the audio world. and I don't know, to me it just seems like a really cool thing that they do. And another important thing about the whole Bill of Rights, part of that is price protection. So if they ever advertise a product that you bought for less within a certain time frame, and you said, hey, you guys just lowered the price on this, you know, they cut you a check. So they don't go on sale. Everybody pays the same price new. But for big events, they usually discount their outlet items. So that's where you can save a bunch of money, is by going through their outlet. And, you know, like this weekend is the Labor Day sale, and I wouldn't be surprised if they sell out. You know, I was kind of looking through some of this stuff, and you can save over $1,000 in some cases for a set of dual subs, and still have all the benefits of new and everything like that. So it's one of those things where if you're not too worried about buying an outlet item, you can get a really good deal on these things. So, you know, when it comes to stuff like that, if you're looking at buying higher end stuff, try and find places that, you know, like Accessories for Less, like SVS, that give you a warranty that's just as good as, if not in some cases, better than new. Like the case with the whole Accessories for Less. I mean, I've got a longer warranty on that than I would have gotten new. So that's awesome. So things like that make a lot of sense. You know, when you're buying used stuff, when it comes to higher end items, it's really a crapshoot. You know, it could go one way or the other. You can buy an AVR like I did and have it last you 15, 20 years. That happens. But I'm saying it's something to be aware of. Things do break. And the more complicated, the more likely they are to break. But it's, you know, like I said, if they didn't have that aftermarket warranty, I wouldn't have bought my, my Denon 6200 used. I just wouldn't have done it. But my last tip when it comes to buying used stuff, and this is an important thing to think of, and sometimes people might not be aware or think to do this, but if you're going to buy something on Craigslist, what you can do is get the serial number from whatever product you're looking at, call your local police department and ask them to run it to make sure it's not stolen. And when you do that, write it down, document who you spoke to, what time, the date, everything. Document everything you can about it and then put it somewhere with the rest of your paperwork. And the reason I'm saying that is because if you call them and they're like, oh no, that's a stolen product, you might have just avoided jail time. Secondly, if it gets reported after you've purchased it, okay, so say you call in and you say, hey, is this stolen? And they say, no, it's not. And then the owner discovers it's stolen and they finally get the serial numbers and all that stuff. And 3 weeks later, it's reported stolen. Well, you're still in possession of stolen property. But if you can demonstrate that, hey, I wrote this down. I called you guys and I was concerned about this. And I called you guys and you said it was not reported stolen. So at least you can demonstrate at that point that, hey, I was concerned about it. I've called you. You guys said it wasn't stolen. That's why I bought it. It wasn't my intention to purchase, stolen goods knowingly. So that's my last tip about that. It's one of those things that I started doing a while back because it occurred to me, hey, you can get your hands on some stolen merchandise and not realize it. So that's something that a little trick I learned a while back. But anyway, guys, I'm going to put the links for the SVS thing down below. Check out their outlet deals. Like I said, I don't know how much they're going to have left at this point, but it's worth checking out. I'll put the links for accessories for less. And if you guys have any ideas or suggestions of places like that give you a good deal on factory refurbished stuff and things like that, let me know and I'll put that in the description below too. Anything I can do is great for you guys. But anyway, guys, stay tuned and please subscribe. I got more stuff going on. We'll just see what happens. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching and please subscribe.